Hey everyone, what's going on? My guest today carries the name of one of the most important brands in Dominican tobacco history. He's the youngest son of the legendary José Seijas, a man who ran the world's largest handmade cigar factory for over 3 decades. And now he continues his father's legacy by building, blending, and even as of most recently opened his own cigar factory, which we'll get into. Enrique, thanks for doing this.
Thanks for having me, man.
My pleasure. So walk us through the origin story of Matilde. I understand it dates back to 1876. What happened between then and now, and why your father and yourself decided to relaunch the brand around 13 or 14 years ago.
So let's start with my dad first, right? Because he's the one to start. I'm second generation in the cigar industry, and we're originally from La Romana, southeast side of the Dominican Republic. The tobacco region of the Dominican Republic is actually in North Santiago, right?
Yeah.
But there was a factory, or there was a company called Consolidated Cigar Corporation, was owned by Gulf and Western. My dad studied industrial engineering, and sheer coincidence, he was hired into this company. Initially, he was doing, he was an industrial engineer who was running the industrial engineering department for the sorting facility.
Interesting.
They brought all the Connecticut shade, Connecticut broadleaf,
Yeah.
brought out to Dominican Republic, did the sorting, the molding, and everything, right?
Yeah.
And his first job became his only job. I mean, he
That was it.
started in 1974. He spent like 3 years in the Dominican Republic. Then he was moved to the Canary Islands to work in Tabacalera.
Yep.
At that time, I believe he was working. He was like working with the syndicates and stuff like that. My dad was always very good with people, right?
Sure. Yeah.
And he was working with the syndicate. Then after that, that got moved to La Romana, to what now is Tabacalera de García. And 84, he became the VP of Operations and Master Blender for the company.
Yes.
And then after that, that was it, man. I mean, I was born in 84, and he retired in 2012. From 1974 to 2012, my dad was employed by the same company, different mergers and acquisitions.
Sure.
And he just able his way up to being the VP of Operations and Master Blender.
So he retired in 2012, and he ended up relaunching the Matilde brand alongside yourself, right?
That is
You
correct.
helped him. And when he could have retired, is there a reason as to why he came back? Like, what was the purpose behind just not staying retired?
Well, there's two things, right? My dad retires. I was still working. I was working with him at the time. I was actually attracted in the cigar industry, not only because of the cigars and the tobacco, but I wanted to learn from him, right?
Yeah.
I mean, his father, son, he had a very particular way of managing and working.
Yep.
So I wanted to learn from him, right? And so he left the industry, left the company, but he wasn't really ready to leave cigars by themselves.
Yeah.
And I wanted to keep on in the industry.
Yeah.
I just been working with for 3 years.
Yeah.
And he said, let's launch Matilde.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we couldn't use our last name. Our last name, Seijas,
Was trademarked?
it was trademarked.
That's insane.
Yeah. Oh, my dad was a corporate guy. He thought he was never going to leave that factory. He was going to die there. It was his baby.
Yeah.
I mean, we used to make fun. I have 3 siblings. It's my older sister, my older brother, myself.
Yeah.
He always said there was another sibling, which is a factory.
Yeah.
The factory was 5 minutes away from my house.
Sure.
And my dad worked fucking 12, 13 hours a day. I remember I used to rollerblade in the factory, go with my friends on Saturdays. It was a humongous factory.
Yeah.
It was the largest manufacturing operation in the world, right?
Yeah, of course.
So basically, it was trademarked, and we can use our last name initially. So if you can't pay homage to your family name, which usually most families do,
That's the way
right?
they go about it, yeah.
We said, let's pay homage to the Dominican Republic. We had a historian looking at different cigar brands, or companies, actually, tobacco companies,
Yes.
that were had Dominican roots,
Yes.
but were no longer there.
Sure.
So Matilde was a brand that was founded in 1876 by Simeon Mencia. It died about 1917, and about 100 years later, we decided to revive it with Matilde Renacer. So the project was a cigar manufacturing facility. We had a small tour in La Romana, and the idea was showcasing cigar manufacturing. Because a lot of people smoke cigars, but don't really know what goes into actually manufacturing a cigar.
Of course.
They don't know when it comes from hand
No,
to
of
everything,
course.
no?
Yeah, absolutely.
But we revived Matilde, and it was our way to paying homage to the Dominican Republic.
For
Saying,
sure.
let's revive a cigar,
Yeah.
a brand
Yeah.
that was basically non-existent, right? And we just revived it,
Absolutely.
make it ours.
And there was a lot of, I mean, the experience that you and your father kind of garnered up until that point where you founded or relaunched Matilda, because it says a lot because Tabacalera de García was never a handmade cigar factory. They used to be a machine-made factory in the 70s. Back in the 70s.
In the 70s, they did the tobacco sorting. They did not have machine-made. They had tobacco sorting, and then that was moved to the handmade. The machine-made factory was in Puerto Rico and in the States, and then that got moved to the Dominican Republic.
So your father, didn't he help transition the factory into a handmade? Like, did he need, was he emphasizing the importance of hand-rolled cigars, and he helped transition that?
He emphasized the hand-rolled cigars, and he emphasized the importance of the blends, the origins of tobacco and stuff like that. Initially, when he started working at the cigar operations, what used to happen is you had one blend, and that blend where you change the binder, you change the wrapper, and you use one single blend for different brands.
Yeah.
And he started emphasizing also we need to work with different blends, we need to work with different tobaccos of different origins, right?
Yeah.
So he forefronted what the development, right, of the blends. He, as an industrial engineer, he broke everything down. He brought everything back together to make sure everything was as as perfect as it could be. That was his thing, right?
Yeah.
But he did. I mean, I don't remember how many people it was when I was born in the company, but he went like from 1,200 people to 5,000 people, and.
Wow.
So it went from, they used to make anywhere from like, I don't know, inexpensive handmade product to a very high-end handmade product. I remember all the tobaccos were sorted, not only by the priming, but also by the type of cigars. They said tabaco rústico, no rústico. Basically, it was the same long leaf filler, but the non-rústicos were like for the very, very high-end ones. The rústicos were like, less high-end one, right?
Yeah.
Besides that, that was now in my lifetime. They moved the machine-made operations to La Romana. So he was managing the full premium operation with about 5,000 people in the machine-made operation as well.
And he got hired like relatively young. Like, how does a young 24-year-old industrial engineer become one of the most recognized blenders eventually? Coming from that background into blending into one of the largest hand-rolled cigar factories in the world. Like, can you describe that evolution?
Passion and obsession.
Yeah.
That's basically it. Like, when I was born, he was already in the position where he was. And it was just basically, he just loved what he did. My dad had passions. It was tobacco. It was making the most perfect cigar and tobacco that he could. As I said, he was always looking for different ways to make the cigar better.
Yeah.
And he just lived it. So my dad used to go to the office 7 a.m., come back 7, 8 p.m. During the boom, the first boom, the 90s, we used to go visit him. My mom used to go visit him.
Absolutely.
He was always a person that led by example.
Sure.
So there was a time where the factory worked 24/7, right? They had 4-3 shifts. It's like 4 days, 12-hour days, and everything was working constantly. And he was there. I mean, he was there. He was there till like 12, 1, and 3 a.m. That's what he did, right? Non-stop.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's just basically passion and trying and experimenting.
And I mean, and it shows because from what I understand, Altadis recognized his efforts and pretty much named a whole blend after him in the year 2000 with the Jose Signature Black. And it's not every day, because usually when a cigar is named after somebody, it tends to be the owner of the brand or the owner of the operation. But this was an employee getting a cigar recognized and named after him.
Yeah, 100%.
Which is, it's the first
huge honor,
story I've heard of somebody like recognizing an employee with a whole cigar dedicated. The Signature Black, I believe, was a smash hit in 2000 as well.
It was huge, yeah. It was one of Cigar Aficionado's top 25 cigars. It has Signature. It was launched at 2000. And there were many. There were a few cigars. He had the Seijas Signature. He had the Mi Dominicana by José Seijas. They did a VegaFina by José Seijas. The Suma. So my dad became, besides the master blender and VP of operations, he became kind of the face behind the factory, and it's funny because he was a very quiet man. So my dad was very quiet, soft-spoken. He just went straight to the point, but he enjoyed sharing, traveling and sharing stuff with people and sharing his passion. My dad was extremely passionate, and he was the type of person that doesn't matter who you were. You would sit down. You came to visit him. You're a cigar smoker. Like, you try this blend. We're just trying,
Exactly.
work on this blend. I love your feedback, and he would take your feedback,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly.
Because one of the things that he taught me is like everybody can teach you anything, right?
Of
You
course,
keep
there's
your mind
something
open,
to learn
no?
from anyone. Yeah.
But yeah, he just was so obsessed and so entrenched into making cigars and learning that his passion became his career, and his career became his mastery, and he became master in making this stuff.
And now you have regained the trademark for the Seijas brand.
We did.
Back. And
We were fortunate enough to get our name back. I originally reached out. So we've had Matilde, 2014 when we launched. We did the Renacer, we did La Oscura, La Cuadrada, La Serena. And my dad was afflicted with Parkinson's years ago. And I was smoking a cigar, and coño, I'm just thinking there. I'm like, coño, people usually pay homage or do something for the loved ones after they pass away, right? And you say, oh, let's do a homage, or let's do a ceremony, or whatever it is, right? And I say, coño, no, I want to say thank you. I don't want to pay homage. I want to say thank you. I want to thank my father. Thank my father for what he did, for the industry, for the people, for me, for my family, right? And that's where the idea or the point of the Para José Seijas came along. So our first cigar, besides Matilde, that had our name or had his name, is el Para José Seijas en honor a mi padre. And with that cigar, we still didn't have our trademark. We still didn't have our name. But I reached out to Altadis, and he said, "You know what? I want to do a cigar for my father. I want to thank him. It's going to be a limited release." And they gracefully said yes. Your dad was with us for 37 years. I mean,
yeah,
you built the factory and all that, and they said yes. And the idea for me with the Para José Seijas was a thank you.
Of course.
I called it my break-even project. I didn't care if I made more, I didn't make money. I just wanted to make a cigar that represented his three loves.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
Three loves is family. Yeah. So it was the first cigar in our company history that had our last name, right? So Para José Seijas, en honor a mi padre, is for José Seijas in honor of my father. That's a brand name. It's a very long brand, but it is what it is, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure.
Then the tobacco. We use a mix of Dominican fillers and binder, and finish up with a beautiful Habano Granada wrapper. And that was the hardest part for me, because it wasn't about making a good cigar.
Yeah.
It was about making a cigar or a blend that I believed he would love.
Of course.
Right? It was Para José was a present for him.
Yes.
It wasn't a cigar for the market. It had to be a present for him, right? So it's funny. I have my designer, who was Rafa Miguel from Fieras. I tell him the idea. He's a good friend besides being our main brand designer. And I'm telling him the idea, and that motherfucker got the branding that I was looking for, like the first shot. Like usually we go through like a process where, I tell him my idea, what I'm looking for in the branding, and he comes out with 4 roadmaps.
Yeah.
Saying we can go through here, through here, through here, through here, right?
Sure.
He's like, oh, that's it. I go through there, we do the roadmap. I had the bands printed, I had the box made, I had everything, all the packaging made 4 years or 3 years before we launched the cigar. Because the cigar was supposed to be made, it was supposed to be manufactured and launched when we started it, right?
Yeah, for sure.
But the hard part was like finding that cigar. I was like, well, this is my dad. And went through a lot of blends, we went through a lot of cigars. It had to be a 52 by 6 1/8, because that's what my dad's size. That was a signature size, right?
Sure, yeah.
And we just went and came down like, that's a great cigar. It was a great, but it's not it.
It's not it. Yeah.
It's like when you have like love at first sight.
Yes.
You see somebody, and you're like, oh, I fell in love.
Yeah, absolutely.
It had to be like when I smoked that cigar, I think this is a Para José, this is it, right?
Yeah.
And I remember it was in my office in Santo Domingo. Take one of the test blends, I smoke it. This is it. This is Para José Seijas. And that was 3 years.
That took a long time.
After the project started.
That took a long time. Yeah.
So we start the project, and we manufacture, we age, we launch. Unfortunately, my dad passed away before I was able to launch. Um, he was able to see everything before he passed away. I showed him the box and everything. I explained the project. Because it was for me, I wanted to for in life. And I'm a firm believer that God works in mysterious ways, right? And it'll come out a little bit later in the interview.
Yeah.
Pero the Para Jose se represented the name, the tobacco, which were his two loves, family and tobacco, loves and passion.
Yeah.
But I think the most important thing that I've learned and the most important thing that my dad taught me was helping, was giving, right?
Yeah.
My dad fell in love with what he did because he loved tobacco. He loved the process. I mean, you think about it, I used to call the factory industrialized art.
Absolutely.
Because he used industrial engineering to just break everything down. He did with everything. I mean, he broke personalities down. He broke manufacturing. He broke everything down to bring it back in, right?
He brought the skills that he pretty much gained in his previous background into the world of
his studies.
Cigars. And, and the ability to kind of merge those together is That's just beautiful. I mean, you find people like that are so creative and talented in that way that they're not one dimensional where I can only do this and not this, but you can bring both together. And I think your dad was one of the perfect examples of people who can bring things from the outside into the world of cigars and show you what can be done.
100%. He could experiment. He did all kinds of shit to experiment. A lot of times we're annoying. Like, Dad, this is great. He's like, no, wait, let's go back. Let's go back,
yeah, absolutely. And with the you regaining the trademark and the recent launch of Pineapple Cigar Factory, to my understanding, you're making all your Seijas signature cigars from that factory moving forward.
Yeah.
What can we expect any new launches to build onto the Para Jose Seijas series, from that, like in the near future, or what's the timeline for that?
It's gonna be closer than later, right? With the Para Jose Seijas, it's not gonna be Para Jose Seijas. So how we divide our cigars, we have Matilde, which is our core, right?
Yes.
And in Matilde you have the Matilde core, which is Renacer, Serena, Oscura, Cuadrata, and Serena Maduro, right?
Yes.
And then we have our limited exposure series, which we'll talk a little bit about later. That's Matilde, right?
Yes.
Then we have Para Jose Seijas. Para Jose Seijas is a product that we use to raise funds.
Yes.
So we launched a product from that cigar. We take part of the proceeds and we donate to the Parkinson's Foundation in the Dominican Republic. Now, that's one brand. Para Jose Seijas is a brand.
Yeah.
Now we're developing the Seijas brand.
Okay.
So Seijas brand is going to be our next step in cigar manufacturing. So the Matildes, we have two great manufacturing partners. Sure. We have Tabacalera Palma, which does all our core. And then Tabacalera La Isla, which does our limited. We've done the limited exposures with them. We've done a special edition with them, and we did the Para Jose Seijas with Hostos, right?
Yes.
So now the Seijas cigars are going to be made at the Pineapple Cigar Factory, which is our factory. I wanted to make sure that our name, the cigars that bore our name, that it was Seijas, was made by a Seijas.
Yes.
So that's where the Pineapple Cigar Factory comes in.
That's beautiful. And you've been the driving force for a lot of these new launches. And most notably, we did bring in the special edition, which was a smash success. That was, to my understanding, the first cigar to use Peruvian tobacco as part of the core line.
We wanted to use a Pelo de Oro. And the special edition started as a cigar for me.
Yeah.
And I wanted to my dad had the Seijas signature, right? And I wanted to use different components that my dad had. It was a Peruvian Pelo de Oro and then the Korean Sumatran wrapper.
Yeah.
And we started developing the cigar, and it was a small production because it was meant for when we were doing tours and I was traveling, and a cigar that I would enjoy very much. You know? And as we developed the cigar and it's going on and on and on and on, I come to a point, this cigar is too fucking good. Fuck it, I'm just gonna put it out to the market, and we launched it in one of the PCAs, and then it was great.
Sumatra is just a standout wrapper for a lot of lines if you do it right.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's a stunner. Speaking of the core lines we're looking at here, I noticed the Quadrata is the only one in your portfolio that's pressed.
Mm-hmm.
What is the reasoning behind pressing this specific cigar and leaving everything else a parejo?
Well, the Quadrata, so all our cigars, the the line extension are descriptors, right?
Yeah.
If you look at it, Renacer is rebirth. It was the rebirth of Matilde and the rebirth of our family at a different stage of manufacturing. It went from, my dad went from managing the largest manufacturing operation in the world
Of course.
to working with the smallest manufacturing. I fuck
Yeah.
around, like, you know, you went from millions of
Yeah.
cigars to a couple 100,000 cigars. That's Renacer, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Then you go with Serena. Serena is serene, it's calm.
It's calm, yeah.
So it's a mild to medium cigar, it's creamy, it's got nice sweetness, so it's calming as Serena, that's what it is. Serena Maduro is just Serena, which is Maduro, right?
Yeah.
Oscura was our first Maduro, so it's a dark wrapper.
It's a
So
dark
Oscura
wrapper.
it's dark in Spanish, no?
Yeah.
Then we have the Cuadrata. Cuadrata, and you also notice everything's female, because Serena, Matilde is a female brand, so
Oh,
the line
interesting.
extensions are all females.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
That's amazing.
Cuadrata is square,
Okay, okay.
hence a box press. So this cigar was designed to be box press because it was Cuadrata.
You just, because of the name, you want to play with the, you know, keep it in line with the branding of the cigar.
Yeah.
That's okay. Okay, yeah. Well, the translation helps a lot now. I didn't know what it
Yeah,
meant,
yeah,
but I thought it had to do with like four something, you know, cuadrata, but I guess four sides, squares, same thing. Yeah.
A cuadrata, because in Spanish, cuadro, which is
Cuadro
a
is-
square,
yeah.
is a cuadro is male.
Yeah.
So we went with cuadrata as an Italian.
Yeah.
Because the cuadrata is a four, it's a box press, right? Wanted to make
Yeah.
sure it was a box press as cuadrata, and that's what described. So this blend was created to be box pressed.
Okay.
So
yeah.
we created all
That's
these blends
interesting.
in Parejo. This blend was created to be box pressed, and that's why the name is cuadrata.
It's my favorite of the core line. Just full.
It doesn't
full
suck,
juice.
right? Yeah.
It does all right. But man, this cigar is just extremely dynamic, rich, complex, transitions beautifully. It's never been a boring smoke, and in all honesty, I've never had an issue with any of your cigars in terms of construction. Nothing of the kind. So you guys obviously put a lot of commitment to excellence. And I wanted to also raise a question about the Maduro and the Oscura because are they both San Andreas wrappers?
I like San Andreas wrapper. We have a couple of San Andreas wrapper.
So-
We have the Oscura.
Yeah.
We have the Serena Maduro and the Limited Exposure #1.
Okay.
Also have San Andreas wrapper.
All San
yes.
Andreas.
Yes.
How do you keep the two from kind of stepping over each other in terms of the blend behind them, given they're both the same wrapper? Like, what is the difference between the two? If a customer likes San Andreas tobacco, well, I have two options here. Now, the question is, which one is more for me? So, what do you respond to that?
So with the Serena,
Yeah.
let's go with Serena primero, right?
Yeah.
Serena and Serena Maduro have the same core blend.
Okay.
The core blend of Serena is a blend that is meant to be mild to medium,
Yeah.
creaminess, clean. Serena was meant for beginners, for mild smokers, right?
Yeah.
So what we wanted to do was keep the Serena Maduro in that same profile, that same range.
Yeah.
So we basically kept the same filler blend, which is a combination of Dominican and Nicaraguan, right? And we switched the binder and the wrapper. So for the Serena, you have a lower binder with a Connecticut Ecuadorian wrapper.
Yeah.
And what we did was that with the Serena Maduro, we selected a Criollo 98 wrapper, which is a little bit stronger, has more sweetness towards it. Olor has a little bit more of a bitterness aroma. It's still sweet, but it's more
Sure.
of a bitterness aroma.
Yeah.
And then we switched the wrapper from the Connecticut to the San Andreas Maduro. What that gives you, it yields a cigar that has the depth of a Maduro, that has that nice cocoa sweetness of the Maduro, that leather earthiness, right?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
But it's still medium
Certainly
under
there.
in strength.
Yeah, this is like the Oscura. and
Is
the
a
Maduro.
stronger
Yeah,
cigar.
It's a little more amped up, in
Yeah.
my opinion. Yeah,
So
fair enough.
the Oscura is a totally different brand.
Okay.
The Oscura, actually, from all our cigars, all our core, is a cigar that has Dominican, Nicaraguan, and Pennsylvanian doble ligero. Pennsylvanian doble ligero gives it a lot of that strength. So it builds it up to being a medium plus body cigar, a lot more pepper, a lot more in your face, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And then we round it up with the Dominican and Nicaraguan to make it a more balanced cigar.
Yeah.
So blend-wise and profile-wise, they're totally different cigars.
totally different
The only thing that
despite-
they share
Is the wrapper.
is a wrapper. This is it's got Dominican, Pennsylvania, Nicaraguan. The wrapper, the binder is an Ecuadorian Sumatran binder, and then it has a Mexican San Andreanico. So that's the only thing that it shares is a wrapper.
It just goes to show you that despite having two, they may seem similar on the outside, but there's so many different kind of ways to go about blending a cigar despite having the
Oh,
same
100%.
wrapper. it's like a chef in the kitchen, all these ingredients, and you're mixing them together.
It's
And
crazy how you change one tobacco and your blend changes completely, like
entirely,
100%. Yeah.
yeah, for sure. And this is so true when you raise the point that it's a flavor-forward blend of Maduro. It's not as strong or pepper-forward as like the alternative is like the Oscura, right?
And the limited exposure number one. Limited exposure number
It's
one.
not as strong as it looks. And
Oh.
if somebody wants to, venture away from a Connecticut, your traditional Connecticut, I think this is completely perfectly like good cigar to recommend for somebody in
100%.
that under that trajectory. We move forward to the limited exposure, and this is extremely unique because it is the first cigar to not entirely use Dominican tobacco in the filler. You
In
use,
our limited,
in the limited
yep.
series, yeah, because you switch to 50% Nicaraguan,
50% Dominican, 50%
Dominican.
Nicaraguan. Yep.
How did that change the profile of this particular
Oh,
installment?
completely. So I was with Ostos, and we're sitting down. Limited exposure number one is all Dominican, right? And it has a Sandrin Mexican wrapper, which I said we have 3 ones, right? The number two, a lot creamier. It's got floral aromas, medium in strength. It has a Corojo filler. It has a Corojo wrapper on it, right? And this, once again, it's got the Ecuadorian Sumatran binder. Wrapper.
In the wrapper, yeah.
And then I was saying, coño, we've used all Dominican. And all our blends are Dominican forward.
For the limited series.
For everything.
For exposure.
Everything. All our cigars are Dominican forward. When I say Dominican forward, is that like in all our cigars, we have at least 80% Dominican tobacco and then 20% Nicaraguan non-Dominican. So we always call it like your salt and pepper, right? When you're cooking, you use your salt and then use the pepper to give like a little bit of oomph, right?
A little bit, yeah.
So within all our cigars, but the Oscura, they all have a combination of Dominican and Nicaraguan. Oscura has a Pennsylvania. With limited exposure, you went full Dominican. It was all Dominican. I said, you know what, let's do something different, right? And we did 50-50. It just yields just a totally different smoke. I mean, it's not even, I'm not saying it's better. I'm not saying it's just different.
Sure, absolutely.
It starts milder. It builds up to having a lot more flavor. I think it still has that undertone of sweetness that I love. It's creamy. It's got that baking spice towards it. I love the jalapa that we use. Jalapa has this very aromatic sweetness towards it, you know?
Yeah.
And it just yields a totally different cigar. It's just, and it's cool because when we created the limited exposures, right? You have number one, which is grittier, has a lot of pepper. It's our strongest offering across the Matilde, right? Then you have the number two.
Yes,
number two, it's creamy, it's floral. You can smell it, you love it, right?
Yeah.
And then you have the number three. It's got more of that baking. It's still sweet, but it's still smooth and balanced. But you got more of that baking spice. It's just different profiles within all of them, and that's what we're trying to do with limited exposures, right?
Of course, yeah.
But that's been our latest release. Limited exposure. You'll notice one thing, right? It says 2024. So we've had this blend since 2024.
Interesting.
But so much shit was going on in our lives with a cigar manufacturing facility, with a para José Seijas, with everything. And once again, I think it's the first time we had everything done before the cigar. The blend was set in 2024. We had the rings done in 2024, but then with the para, everything paused. Para José Seijas, the factory and everything. And it's also, I think it's time to go back to the limited exposure number 3 and do it again.
What advantage do you think that the limited series batches that you guys do give you over the core lines that you have in your portfolio? Like you experiment with tobaccos that you traditionally don't experiment with for your core lines into these blends. You can kind of be more creative.
It's kind of more of your playground, right?
Yeah.
So with core, you always have to go, it's core.
Yeah.
You have to make sure you have the tobacco constantly produced, right?
Yeah.
What we do with the limited exposure series, I'm a firm believer of core. I mean, my family's always been a firm believer of core. When I say core, it's a cigar that we produce constantly, and you retailers and the consumers can smoke constantly.
Yeah.
I think the worst thing in the world is making somebody fall in love with a blend and then saying, oh, we don't have it anymore. Sorry, and it was limited, whatever it is. Limiteds are great. They give you a nice little bump.
A nice little bump, yeah.
And I call it's like your sprinkles, right? It's the sprinkles, oh, what's new? Oh, this Matilde Limited is new, right?
Yeah.
But it's to remind you to come back to the core, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So that's our goal. So loving the core so much, and our market being how it is, that our market, you have a lot of what's new.
Yeah.
We used I try to use kind of a hybrid between both of them.
Yeah.
So limited exposures, it's called limited exposure because they're exposed in limited quantities at a certain time. So we choose the tobaccos, we make the blend. Blend is aged 6 to 8 months, and then it's released, right?
Yeah.
In a batch. That means a batch, we started with our limited exposure number 1, I think we did like 5,000 cigars, right? It was like a small batch, no?
Yeah, yeah.
And once we release it, it goes worldwide, right? And the idea for the store is that you don't feel like you have to overbuy because that batch, we're going to do it again the next year.
So it's not as much of an investment for the manufacturer or the retailer.
I mean, it's more for the retailer. I never want to make somebody,
need something, yeah.
to buy bulk
Yeah.
in something limited.
Yeah, yeah.
Because at the end of the game, I mean, as a retailer, right? When you have $15,000 worth of Matilde, doesn't matter what it is, it's still $15,000.
Of course.
So you feel like you have to buy in bulk because you're never going to get this again. You say, well, I still have 15 boxes of these left. You got the rest of the core. I want to go back to the core.
Yeah, you want to go back to the core.
Well, the idea behind this, the advantage behind this is that you could use different tobaccos. You can play with it, right? We age it a little bit more.
Yeah.
And it's rotational.
Absolutely.
So we have number 1, number 2, and number 3. Every year we do 2.
Yeah.
So there's 1, 2, 1, 2, and now we did 2, 3, 2, 3, and then you go with a 2, 3, 4, 3, 4. There's always going to be rotational. You're always going to have that blend. You're always going to be able to enjoy that blend 1, 2, 3, 4 years.
I love that.
Before it leaves the market.
Yeah.
And then we keep on rotating it every single time.
So your core lines are going to continue to be produced at La Isla and La Palma, despite the opening of Pineapple.
Yeah.
And Pineapple Cigar Factory will launch the new trademark Seijas brand, along with potentially some private labels that we could do. What are your thoughts on a collaboration, Smoke Master Cigars and Matilde at Pineapple Cigar Factory?
Why the fuck not?
Because I'm looking at all these beautiful blends here, and I'm thinking when two passionate minds, such as yourself and me, who have known each other for so long and have a lot to, cooperate with.
Of course.
We have a lot of magic to work with here.
Of course,
So,
100%.
Yeah, we're gonna continue to expand on that. My brother is saying that the camera is about to time out soon. So, look, I wanted to wrap it up. I know you're a busy man, and I really respect your time. And you're just coming out here means the world to us. It's an absolute
pleasure, man.
honor.
Thanks for having me. Really.
It's truly an honor, and
Yeah,
we're
thank you.
very grateful to have you here. And thank you for your education and the beautiful blends at fantastic prices, may I add. It competes really well, and everything you do is just amazing.
Thank you, huh?
Thank you very much, Enrique.
Thank you. Thank you.